Hi, I'm Jerelos, and I will be going through my case study assignment for the presentation. For this assignment, I ended up choosing the urinary system as the system that I wanted to do. So the urinary system honestly does so much for us without us instructing it to do so. And the most important part of the urinary system are the kidneys. The kidneys are what help filter out waste from the blood, which we know is later excreted in urine, because the urine is essentially waste that comes from the blood, if that makes sense. There's also the ureters, urinary bladder, and the urethra. Each human body typically contains 2 kidneys. It is possible to live with one. This is due to the fact that people might be organ donors, and so it is possible to live with 1 kidney. Those that might need organ donations as far as kidneys are those on hemodialysis, and essentially what hemodialysis does is it mimics the functioning of a kidney, so to speak, until a person is able to get that kidney transplant. And there is honestly a really long wait list. This is due to the fact that there is a high demand, as well as there's just simply not enough donors, and even with donors sometimes you just might not be a match. And the kidneys do contain things called a renal cortex, renal pelvis, renal medulla, and renal pelvis. They are shaped like kidney beans, and all of those things are important for the filtration of urine. And one thing that's really important about the kidneys is that they secrete renin, which regulates blood pressure, and they also secrete the hormone erythropoietin, which is important for red blood cell production. Filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. This is what I'm going to get into next. So filtration and reabsorption takes place in the kidneys. The glomerulus is what filters the waste, and the peritubular capillaries are crucial for reabsorbing and secreting. So what reabsorption does is it's taking all the things like glucose and water and electrolytes and basically putting it back into the body. The ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra are what I'm going to discuss next. They are important for the elimination as well as the storage of urine. So urine is stored in the ureters, and from here it gets transferred to the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder stores urine until it needs to be excreted and gotten rid of. So in order to know how, when, so to speak, is that we have sensory signals that basically tell our brain, hey, we need to use the restroom, so let's go do that. And then from the urinary bladder, the urine is pushed out through the urethra. And women do happen to have shorter urethras, which is why UTIs are so much more prevalent in women than men. As people tend to grow older, their kidney functioning really declines, and this just comes with age. The kidneys begin to shrink in size as people age, and it's noticeable about around the age of 40. And this is really difficult because your body needs to maintain homeostasis, and we know that homeostasis is very important in the urinary system. As far as the kidneys are very crucial in this, and they might experience things like protein in their urine, or they might need to urinate more often, or they could simply have incontinence, and this is all due to the loss of kidney functioning. The disease that I chose for this assignment is called interstitial cystitis / painful bladder syndrome. For purposes of this assignment, I'm just going to refer to it as IC. So IC, the symptoms that come with IC are things like bladder pain, frequent urination, pain when eating acidic food, pelvic pain, pain when urinating, bladder spasms, and nighttime urination. Everybody's symptoms can vary, so for instance, somebody might have pain when eating acidic food, or they might have pain when urinating, yet they don't have bladder spasms, or vice versa. It's really, there's no cookie cutter shape of this disease. So the first thing that they go through is a person can get diagnosed based on symptoms. It is important to try to go with a cystoscopy, which is where they take a scope and they put it through the bladder to see the inside of bladder. This helps rule out other things like bladder cancer, as well as they can see Hunner's lesions. IC patients are typically first instructed to be able to do the elimination diet, which is where any acidic food or any trigger food is eliminated. Other lines of treatment can include bladder installations, which help coat and repair the bladder lining, pelvic floor therapy, antihistamines, hydrodistensions, and the interstim implant. The lifespan is not reduced for those with IC, though suicide tends to be higher linked to this illness, and it's very important to seek out mental health. Caregivers can help by those with this illness by offering emotional support needs, as well as performing their instills if they would like and consent to that, and reducing stress around them, making sure they avoid acidic foods in their drinks as well as foods. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you for watching.